Hello, folks. This is Jacob Harkey. It is March 20th, 2024, and I am back in the Great Park outside of the Stanley Mosque Courthouse. Today, I attended a hearing in the Bixler v. Scientology civil lawsuit, and I'm going to do my best to recap some of what I just witnessed. Now, this lawsuit, Bixler v. Scientology, is a lawsuit that has been filed by Danny Masterson's survivors, as well as family members of the survivors, against Danny Masterson, the Church of Scientology International, Religious Technology Center, which is another Scientology organization, and Celebrity Center International, if I'm not mistaken. Now, present in court today, the attorneys for the plaintiffs were Simon Lean and John Cusser, as well as an additional attorney who is present on Court Connect virtually for Jane Doe 1. We also had Bill Foreman and Peggy Dayton there for the defendants, Church of Scientology International. Matthew Hinks and Robert E. Mangels were present in court representing Religious Technology Center, and there was an additional attorney representing Danny Masterson virtually on Court Connect. I want to do my best to recap what's happening in this lawsuit, what the subject of today's hearing was, and what the outcome of the hearing was. Now, as a reminder, I'm not an attorney, so I'm doing my best to make sense of all of the concepts and legal jargon that gets thrown around in these hearings. And some days it's tougher than other days. Today it was a little bit tough at times to keep up with what was happening, but I'm going to do my best. If I say something and I find out later that I was inaccurate, I will correct the record and put out an update to make sure that I'm not spreading any misinformation out there. But just as a recap of what this lawsuit is about, this lawsuit was initially filed back in 2019, and it concerned the stalking and harassment, the fair game treatment that Danny Masterson survivors had experienced at the hands of the Church of Scientology since coming forward about their allegations against Danny Masterson. Now, the case was put on hold for a few years while Danny Masterson's criminal proceeding was ongoing. But as many of you know, Danny Masterson was convicted in May of 2023 on 2 counts of forcible SA, and he was sentenced in September. So the civil lawsuit is moving forward once again. Now, since the conclusion of the criminal trial, there have been additional amended complaints filed by the plaintiffs that have included not only the harassment that the plaintiffs have received since coming forward about what they've experienced, but now the amended complaints are actually including the details of the SA incidents themselves, as well as RICO charges. So RICO referring to racketeering, influenced, and criminal organization. Essentially, allegations are being put forth in the amended complaints that the Church of Scientology is engaging in criminal conduct. Now today, well, before I get to today, I will just mention that the Church of Scientology has, or the defense, I should say, has filed a number of anti-SLAPP motions. And as I understand the way that anti-SLAPP motions work, SLAPP is SLAPP. It stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. And a SLAPP is essentially a frivolous lawsuit in which plaintiffs are abusing the litigation system in order to silence somebody. So the defense in this case, which is Church of Scientology International et al., is alleging with their anti-SLAPP motions that that's what the plaintiffs in this case are doing, that the plaintiffs are just trying to abuse the litigation process. And there's been a lot of back and forth between the attorneys of both sides about, I know that's not what's going on. Well, today, some of those arguments were heard. Not quite as much as I had thought, because the judge did have a handful of things that he had to get to regarding just the legality of what needed to be legality of what needed to be covered, what bases needed to be covered, and in order to make sure that everybody is in compliance with the law. Now, regarding regarding the allegations of stalking and harassment, which have appeared in complaints since this lawsuit initially came out, it does appear to me that those are likely to stick, that those are not likely to be going anywhere. Now, as far as the RICO allegations and allegations of criminal conspiracy, those we did not hear a final ruling about today. The judge did chat a little bit about how he intends to rule as well as why, but as I understood it, there is a law that a case, a previous case which has set a precedent, which makes it so that there's additional time that needs to be given to both sides before the judge can make a final ruling about how he intends to rule regarding anti-slap or anti-slap measures that have been taken against RICO allegations. So regarding the RICO charges, regarding conspiracy charges, the judge said that conspiracy allegations are going to be easier to prove than agency. Agency meaning that there are allegations that some of the individuals named in the lawsuit are really agents acting on behalf of Church of Scientology International. Now, the conspiracy charges, in order for, I took some notes that I'll need to be referring to make sure that I understand what I'm saying. In order to establish conspiracy, conspiracy can be revealed through similar characteristics of conduct in different incidents. So the way that the judge worded it, as I understand it, once the allegations regarding Danny Masterson surfaced in March 3rd of 2017, substantial events having to do with harassment and stalking started to happen against the Jane Does, against the plaintiffs in this case. And because all of those incidents had to do with Danny Masterson and his allegations, they all had similar circumstances, which makes them sufficient for conspiracy. So to recap, the judge did not say today that he is rejecting the anti-slap or that he is ruling in the plaintiff's favor because of a timing or a scheduling issue. So he said that he's going to continue this hearing, and after some back and forth between the attorneys about which days they're all available, it sounds like May 29th, 2023 at 9 a.m. is when this hearing is going to be continued. So I'm certainly very interested to see how that goes. I do intend to be back when that happens. I definitely would like to also read up a bit on some of the differences between conspiracy and agency and rules surrounding anti-slap, because there were definitely a lot of terms being thrown around in court today that I was doing my best to keep up with, doing my best to take as detailed notes as I could. I see Jeffrey Bourne now says Jacob should definitely go to law school. Believe me, I'm thinking about that more and more each day. That may be a move in the near future. We'll see. But because the hearing was continued to May 29th, I don't expect that there will be too many more updates over the next couple of months about additional developments in this case. But I'm hoping to see some justice for the plaintiffs. I feel horrible about all that the plaintiffs have had to go through, all of the harassment that they have experienced, and I hope for a stop to be put to all of it. So I will be back. Thank you to all of you who tuned in to hear some of this update. Jeffrey Bourne now says it's hard to get them on RICO because they pay no taxes. That may be a factor. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to confirm or deny there, but it could be. That could be a factor. I see Cat Lady 2020 says I cringe every time I hear anyone calling it a church. I know what you mean. All right. Now, what I'm thinking, I will definitely be back on May 29th. Like I said, if there are folks who put out additional updates or make any clarifications or share any additional information of ways that I can provide some additional context, I want to make sure that folks are able to understand what's going on here. I'm trying to understand things as best I can. So if there are more updates, I will be sure to share them. But in the meantime, that's all for today. I hope everybody stays safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Stay safe, everybody.